wasn't always willing to bet on myself. I think it took a long time to get to that point. It got to the point where I just wanted to take control of my career and really do what I did best, which was connect collectors with artists and champion the artist's work. There were definitely times when I thought, like, maybe I just shouldn't do this. Maybe this is the universe telling me that things aren't working and this is just really, really hard. And I was literally wrapping artwork at 10 p.m. at night and crying because I was like, I just have to get this done.
Those emotional roller coasters are real, and don't ever underestimate a good cry.
It does help.
That is one of the most therapeutic things that we have in our arsenal, is to just cry.
But then I got up there, had a great meeting, had a wonderful, inspiring trip. I come back and sales started coming through. So if you can weather the slow times just financially and also the downs, then it really does make like the upside to having a successful business worth it.
I am joined today with Victoria Kennedy Reel, owner of Kennedy Contemporary Gallery in Newport Beach, California. Victoria, welcome.
Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate the invitation.
I'm excited. And a little bit of background. You have a minor in art history. You worked as a curator for about a decade before opening your own gallery. You opened it in 2021, which feels like one of those decisions where people either think you are brilliant or completely out of your mind. Victoria, did you know that you were always willing to bet on yourself in that way?
I wasn't always willing to bet on myself. I think it took a long time to get to that point. And maybe for some entrepreneurs, it comes instinctively and they always want to go the route of bravery and just taking the bet on yourself. For me, it took a longer time. I worked in rare book sales. I worked in other galleries. I worked for an online gallery that's very prominent. And it got to the point where I wasn't getting necessarily fed up, but I just wanted to take control of my career and really do what I did best, which was connect collectors with artists and champion the artist's work and help to facilitate that beautiful connection that comes when someone loves an artwork. And especially with artists that I loved, that I wanted to represent, and that I wanted to champion their careers. So it took a long time, but now I'm really grateful 5 years in that I did bet on myself and it's paid off.
That's fantastic. What would you say is one of your most memorable moments during that time where you thought, oh, this is going to work? We got this.
Well, I can tell you the time that I didn't think it was going to work, but which happens.
We
But
remember those easily.
we remember yeah, exactly, the failures. I think it was I had just opened up the gallery and I was getting some traction. I had some ups and downs, like some good months, some bad months, but we ended up getting one really big project, and this was like 1 year in. And it was with a very prominent interior designer, and it was someone that I was really excited about working with. And she just came to me and said, I absolutely love what you're doing. I want to connect you with my clients. And we ended up curating a bunch of art for their home. That was a very exciting moment for me because I felt like I had made the big leagues. And that client had been collecting from other galleries that I've admired for years and years. And the fact that they wanted to also collect my artists was a huge affirmation for me because I felt like, hey, I'm doing the exact same thing that these other galleries that I've admired and have been open for decades are doing. And that means I must be doing something right.
I love she supported you the way you're supporting your artists, and you see
Yeah.
this pattern of support through that. Has
Mhm.
that always been a passion of yours?
Yeah, definitely. I find that I tend to be a little too giving sometimes and too trusting. So definitely over the years I've had to kind of rein myself back in and remind myself not everyone is like this, but I do very much believe in trying to help other female entrepreneurs and help them get their feet wet and at least kind of guide them in the right direction. And the same thing goes with my artists. In the art world, you typically have geographical exclusivity with your artists, and the majority of my artists are actually female, which just kind of happened randomly. It wasn't something I planned. So it's been really powerful to help these artists. Some of them are young, maybe in their late 20s, early 30s, and help them get into other galleries, help them sell their work, help them raise their prices year on year because we've had successful sales and their work continues to grow and change. So that is, I would say, one of the most rewarding things about this industry in particular, and also what I'm doing. I just love to help people and I love to further them and help them make beautiful art.
And that's something that you have an eye for. It's instinctual inside of you, I can imagine. When we have that expertise and we turn that into a business,
Mhm.
making that leap can have some challenges because we may or may not have gone to business school. We may or may not have grown up in a business or an entrepreneurial family. What was that path like for you?
Yeah, I come from a family of, I mean, I'm very smart. My parents are incredibly smart, and but they've definitely taken the, I would say, traditional career route. And when they were raising myself and my two other siblings, they instilled that in us. Get a job, work hard, you can work your way up the corporate ladder. And so I remember when my younger brother graduated college and he decided to start his own startup because he went to Stanford and he that was a very instinctual thing to do at the time, still now is. They were a little worried and they were concerned. They were like, wait, people are going to give you money to go start a business. And what if you fail? And sure enough, the first business didn't really pan out. He did have some good ideas. He learned a lot of good experiences, but he had to do it again and again and again. And now he's doing it again, but he actually has an amazing concept and is building a really exciting company with a great group of people on some revolutionary software. So watching him do that and seeing how my brother was structuring his companies, like choosing the right people to be around him and like being really smart about investors and money and making sure to really honor the people who invested in him. That gave me a lot of confidence to try my own thing. And of course, I don't have investors. It's just me. And it was me and my savings at the beginning that I poured into this space. But it has paid off, which I'm grateful for. And I've learned a lot about running a business, paying sales tax, which is something I did not anticipate, learning how to take care of just the gallery. I'm like the janitor and the social media person and the curator and the art installer sometimes. But I think that's the best part about being an entrepreneur and running a business is you get to know so many little things about running a business that you just get to you learn a lot and it exposes you to a lot of different types of challenges. And I think being able to approach those challenges with an open mind and an eagerness to work hard eventually sets you up in the right position as an entrepreneur.
I I love that your brother helped break the mold and pave the path. So when you said, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm opening my own gallery," they're like, "Okay, we get this concept now."
They're like, "Do you have a business plan?" And I was like, "Yeah." And actually, it was a good thing. Like, I really appreciate my dad in particular because he has a very good mind for numbers. And so I put together a 50-page business plan, and I had a Google sheet that had a proof of cash, not a proof of cash flow, a cash flow analysis or forecast to say, okay, this is how much I need to make in sales to basically just break even. This is a good scenario. This is a bad scenario. Let's hope we get somewhere in the middle and then we continue to grow from there. So he was really helpful in helping me to look at those different Google sheets and put together all the Excel formulas. And I learned a lot from that. And I still use a lot of those templates too today.
We all need someone with an Excel spreadsheet superpower
Yeah,
in our life.
definitely. It's so helpful. I know. Yeah. Do you use Excel spreadsheets normally in your business or no?
I do. I am one of those people where I have an Excel spreadsheet for everything.
Oh, I love that.
I am a numbers person 100%. I don't care what the problem is. Let me look at it from the numbers perspective, and I've got a spreadsheet for that.
Yep. That's great.
Oh, complete opposite end. Oh, it, through all of that, what was one lesson or two that you just had to learn the hard way? Someone could have told you this is going to happen or watch out for this, but you needed to experience it yourself.
I realized early on, and this was probably after the first year, that having employees was harder than I anticipated. First of all, it's hard to find someone who has kind of the natural talent of just being a personable person and not necessarily being like a salesperson because I've encountered real salespeople, and that's not really my vibe. I'm not a very pushy salesperson. And then also someone who has a technological expertise. So it's always finding that balance whenever I'm hiring, is trying to find someone who is very competent on the computer, able to do Photoshop, do our Instagram copies, pull together all of the images and assets that we need, and also be good in front of clients, like able to walk into a $30 million home and act appropriately and able to handle art. So I learned early on that it was I I I tended to hire the wrong people because I was either friends with them, or I just liked them as people, but they weren't good at the job. And and we ended up kind of butting heads sometimes. And so I kind of had to set aside my personal preferences and say, I'm just going to hire people, preferably people I don't know, based on these specific qualifications. And that's actually ended up working out the past couple times. But by far, I keep my team very small, and it's pretty much just me and then another part-time employee. I I've seen other female entrepreneurs grow and hire on multiple employees, build these massive teams, but then it kind of becomes an HR, you almost become like an HR person trying to manage all of the different things. And then you have to get employment lawyers and then be susceptible to offering all these types of benefits. So I prefer to just keep it very small. Yeah.
Within that, what is the role that you enjoy doing most? It's instinctive, it's natural for you, and this is why you wake up every morning for it.
I love just working. I love going into people's houses and problem solving and trying to figure out what is the best piece of art, what is the best artist for this space, and putting together the pieces in a home where we can basically curate a selection of art based on the client's preferences, like the story of the client, who they are as people. And again, making that magical connection with the artists and the collectors, really have this perfect meeting of union or meeting of minds. And I'm fortunate enough that a lot of my clients' homes are gorgeous, and they're new builds or they're like heavy renovations. And we're often working with some of the best interior designers in the world. And we get to come in and find that perfect piece for the wall that just makes the entire room. And that's my favorite part of the job.
I want to stay here for a minute because a lot of people see art as something beautiful, but it could be optional or they don't understand it, but they know that
Mm.
they want it. Yet people who are most drawn to it often say it changes how they think, how they feel. It just changes their life. What role do you believe art actually plays in people's lives, not just in their home?
I believe it really, I would agree with that assessment. It does change how you interact with a room, a space, yourself. One of our artists, Chris Waltney, who's been painting for over 3 decades, often says the most bravest thing you can say is, I don't know why I like it, but I do. And that the art continues to change with you as you grow and as you see the world in a different light. You'll look at that painting or that sculpture and you'll see something different every single time you interact with it. Even the art that I've collected for 10 years that lives in my home, every time I look at it, now I see something different. Or maybe now, as a mom of two, I'm interacting with that piece in a different way than I was when I first bought it and I was traveling the world and didn't have kids and was just married. And so I think that's the best thing about original art. And that's not to say prints can't do the same thing for you, but one of the benefits to purchasing original art versus a print is that you're actually supporting an artist who's living, who's working, and it's a unique piece of work. So it's not a mass-produced print where there's hundreds and thousands of copies, like what you can get at Target or West Elm or Restoration Hardware. So to me, the biggest benefit, and I always try to buy original as much as possible, is I buy from galleries or from artists. And it can be a range of prices as well. You can invest in art starting at a couple $100s all the way up to 50 to $100,000 or more. So it doesn't have to be like a huge economic investment. And what I often tell people is I tell them to collect over time. Me, when I started off, I had a 2-bedroom condo and we didn't have a lot of space on the walls. And so I would buy a lot of small pieces from artists that I loved or loved working with. And now that we have a little bit more space, I'm starting to kind of slowly invest in some larger pieces, but it's going to take time. And maybe I'll buy one piece a year, maybe once every other year, depending on how things are going. But it's a lifetime thing. And I hope my collectors will also live with my artists for a very long time.
Uh, I love it You're seeing the art as it's both an investment and inspirational.
Mhm. Yeah.
And there's that intersection there that you can help balance because it can be both.
It can be, definitely. I mean, we have increased the prices of our artists, and so if you bought one of our for example, Heather Zussman, the wood sculptor behind us, if you bought one of her pieces 5 years ago, it might be $7,000. This piece, I think, is around 9 or $10,000. I had a collector come to me last week who was interested in her work, and they said, "Wow, I should have bought it 5 years ago." And I was like, "Yeah, you really should have, especially if you love this artist."
So you're walking out with it today? You're walking out with it today, right?
Exactly, yeah, I know. So yeah, it's a little bit of both. And again, the biggest thing I think the biggest benefit is that you're supporting not only an artist but a small business. And that in itself I think is really powerful where you put your money nowadays because we can so easily buy big box things from large retailers and it's a lot more special when you're buying from just a single artist, a small gallery.
There. You mentioned perception of the art changes over time and how we view it. You've got 2 kids now. How has that evolved being an entrepreneur? Because you're now not just the janitor, the bookkeeper, the social media, the owner, your mom, and everything else that goes with that, and carpool. And I think our second conversation, I was driving carpool and you were doing the laundry and jetting out the door. This is just out. This is the way things are, and this is our life.
Yeah.
How have you evolved with that?
Yeah, I want to say I think the biggest lesson has been that I'm a lot more precious with my time. And I think when I started the gallery, I was so hungry to take any opportunity, do everything that was available because I didn't know what would work out. And it was a lot of lessons that I had to learn who to work with, which opportunities to say yes to. So I said yes to almost everything. Now I feel like I'm at the point where I'm definitely paring back and I'm saying no to a lot more things because the I know where we are as a brand, as a gallery. I know where my artists stand. I feel a lot more confident in our community, our collectors, our community. And also, I'm a lot more precious to my time. So I really try to stop working at 4 p.m. I will not work after 4 unless it's for a very specific client or like an install for someone who has collected our artist's work. So I'm really precious with my time because I know I have a good, say, 5 hours in a day to get as much work done as I can. And then the rest of the day, I want to be with my kids and my husband and taking care of the house and things like that, like doing laundry. Or this morning, I put a chicken in the slow cooker because I was going to make chicken pot pie when I get home. So trying to manage things like that.
And you balance, and even we met at an event after 4 o'clock, supporting a female friend of ours at this amazing real estate event. And ever since that event, I've come coined the phrase, you were the OG of the BYOB for meetings. And I now call it the bring your own baby. So I walked in and there was this beautiful baby boy, and I thought, this event cannot get any better. Hand him over.
Yeah, you took them. And I was like, great, thank you. I've been taking care of them all day.
I am now part of your village. Just hand him
I
over at any
appreciate it.
time.
Thank you.
And I love how comfortable and natural it
Mhm.
was for everyone in that room
Yeah,
to have a baby
totally.
there.
Yeah, Perry is our youngest. He's almost 5 months at this point. He's been and I think Liam, our oldest, was kind of this way when he was a kid, is it's you bring them a part of you make them a part of your life. I remember I would set up like a playpen in my bathroom, and so Liam could sleep and take his naps in complete darkness and set up a sound machine, and I would just hold my bladder and not go to the bathroom for a good 2 hours because he was in there sleeping. And before we started this conversation, my lovely gallery assistant was kind enough to walk Harry in the stroller to a nearby park so we could have this conversation. So you make it work. And I'm grateful that my parents help out to watch my youngest twice a week. My oldest is now in daycare and he loves it. But my husband also owns his own business. So there are some days when he's out on a shoot, maybe in New York, and I'm here at the gallery and my parents aren't available. So the baby comes with me. You just make it work.
Entrepreneur, solo parenting, we've learned how to make it work. And in that, as each of you are building your businesses and you've done something incredibly special and meaningful and purposeful with yours and blending it into your family versus your family into it. Sometimes we get that we're
Mm.
not sure which way we're doing it as intentional as we want to be. What have you found is your guiding light at this point? What are you business wise, personally, kind of working towards? And that's that North Star for you in your decision making on a daily or weekly basis.
That's a really good question because I do think sometimes it changes. And I think having kids and bringing them to work and kind of fitting them into your schedule, I think it is a balance because I definitely, when Harry was first born, it was like 80% being at home with the baby because you're breastfeeding and you're just trying to keep this little infant uh, to survive. And so I wasn't at the gallery and I kind of took my foot off the pedal, and our sales were not great at the start of the year. Granted, that also just could be the slowness with January and February in terms of luxury sales. But now I feel like I'm at a point where so many opportunities and clients are coming, and now I'm trying to hand off Harry to my village to basically make this work. But I know there will be a point, like in a couple months, where maybe things will slow down a little bit more, and so maybe I'll take a half day to go hang out with the kids. So it is finding that balance, but I think my guiding light in general is just seeing my life as a whole. I feel very grateful for being able to have this business and also have a wonderful family. And sure, some things may fall through the cracks. Maybe I don't make dinner every single night, or the house isn't super clean all the time, or our dog maybe is left alone for 5 hours, which he's not very happy about. But I feel so grateful for the community that I have, the work, the family. And so I think it's trying to balance all that while also just living a fulfilled life and being happy where you are and being content. So that's what I try to aim towards. It's just happiness.
Love that through all that, what has influenced you the most?
Mm. I think what's influenced me the most is my relationship with my husband because he's constantly like a good buffer to me. I'm a very much type A, you know, controlling everything in the world that I can. And he's very much a creative, a bit more like laissez-faire. Like I'm struggling right now with sleep training with Harry, and he's trying to remind me, he's like, Victoria, it's okay. He'll get there eventually. He's already showing signs of doing XYZ. He's a good, easy baby. Just chill out. And so I appreciate that, even though it's frustrating at times to hear. And so he's definitely been a really good balance and influence on me because he shows me that you can kind of laugh and play and still have fun, and it doesn't need to be like perfect or control and every single time. So you can just kind of let some things be.
And that's a favorite phrase that comes up. My sister taught it to me when my son was little, and
Oh,
she just said, "You got to give yourself grace, Kristen.
yeah,
Give
definitely.
yourself some grace." And I
Yeah.
would get wound up in anxiety. I remember being in
Mm,
a meeting with a number of business owners, and I was pouring my
mhm.
heart out. My son was 12 months old, and I felt like I'd ruined him already. And one of them just laughed. He's all, "First child?" I said, "Yes." He goes,
Yeah.
"Yep."
Yep,
He's like,
exactly.
"It's easy to tell a first time parent because it's just the way I call it the
Yeah,
monkeys and the head work. They just
yeah,
turn into a circus real quick."
yeah, totally.
What's the one piece of advice if you had 20 women in the room growing their business, building the life that they want? What would be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
I think similarly, think of how you want your life to look. And I don't think like children are a part of every single woman's business story. I have some really good friends that I'm not sure if they are going to have kids, but they have amazing businesses. They have amazingly vibrant social lives and communities, partners. So, yeah, think of how you want your life to be in like 10, 20, 30 years. If you do want to have kids, then you do have to realize that your business will take a hit. I don't think you can like fully like function on such a high level and go through the first year of having a kid because it is just it really shifts your mindset, and obviously you're sleep deprived, you're exhausted, and you're dealing with a lot of like emotional and anxiety issues too. I still like wake up some mornings and I'm stressed already because I was up at 4 a.m. with a baby. But I think if you just think about what your long-term vision is and then kind of work backwards from that, that is the best way to execute your life and also execute your goals and make things happen. I knew when I before I had opened the business that I wanted to have a family, and I did kind of time it within the rhythm of the business, but ultimately like I'm grateful that I did do it. And now I have this amazing community of moms that we live with, and so they're also supporting me and my family, and it's been really wonderful. I feel like I'm in a really good place now.
I know a lot of women start their businesses, they want some form of freedom, but we each tend to define freedom in a different way. And how we might define it at the beginning versus 5 years into it and with the family. How do you see freedom in your life, or how are you defining it?
Yeah, I used to think that freedom was like not working or just like having like free time, and which I'm not good at anyway because I like to fill my free time with workout classes, dates, social life, social activities. I think now I define freedom as like really just flexibility. And granted, there are some days when maybe I'm less flexible because I have emails coming in from clients, I have a site visit, XYZ. But overall, because this is my business and we're not on a specific 9 to 5 schedule, I can pretty much do what I want. And one of the things I've been trying to do is play pickleball on Fridays with the moms in the neighborhood. So taking like little opportunities like that to fit things into my schedule that I want to do has been important for me. And I think that is one of the beautiful things about owning your own business is having that freedom to curate your schedule like that. Yeah. So that also is a push and a pull and a balance. But ultimately, I think that is the blessing of entrepreneurship is that you can have this freedom to curate your life.
What's the one thing that you wish more owners knew going into it?
Like how to weather the bad months and the bad years. I'm grateful we've been like profitable every year. That hasn't meant that every month is profitable or that you get to the end of the year and you're like, ooh, that year I did some things wrong. I should have done X, Y, and Z. I should have taken more time to maybe take a vacation. So I think it's weathering the downs. There were definitely times when I thought maybe I just shouldn't do this. Maybe this is the universe telling me that things aren't working and this is just really really hard. I remember there was one time I was preparing for a trip up north to go visit some of my artists in Sausalito, and I was literally wrapping artwork at 10 p.m. at night and crying because I was like, I just have to get this done. And I was so overwhelmed and things weren't going very well with the business. I had just had my son, Liam. So this was a couple years ago. And I thought maybe I just shouldn't do this. This is crazy. But then I got up there, had a great meeting, had a wonderful, inspiring trip. I come back and sales started coming through and the exhibitions were beautiful. And then you realize, okay, so if you can weather the slow times just financially and also the downs, then it really does make the upside to having a successful business worth it.
Those emotional roller coasters are real, and don't ever underestimate a good cry. That is one of the most therapeutic things that we have in our arsenal is to just cry.
Yeah, totally. I know. Yeah, I do it maybe once a year, but it does help.
That's good jag. Beyond the business, Victoria, what are you owning right now?
Ooh, in terms of just my personal life,
Anything.
I am owning trying to fit my workouts into my schedule. I know it sounds kind of trivial, but I was an athlete for a long time, and working out is such a good way to relieve my stress, keep me fit, and it makes me feel really good. And so this morning I managed to fit a 6 a.m. hot yoga class in, which made my morning. And of course, I had been up with the baby, so I didn't get a ton of sleep. But trying to get those back in the rhythms that I used to do before I was pregnant really has been like a great thing for me just mentally. And so I'm grateful to be curating that back into my business, into my life.
I love it. Sometimes we don't feel like ourselves anymore and we want to feel like we used to be. And just taking one thing from that routine or one thing that we edited out and putting it back in, we can start to feel like us again. Because it's tough when we lose a part of that is like losing a piece of our identity. I love that you're owning
Mm,
that. I
thanks. I'm trying.
Victoria, thank you so much because your journey, your life, your business, there is so much inspiration there to be shared with others. And I appreciate that you have shared it with me today. Thank you so much for joining me on She Owns It.
Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate your time. I enjoyed it.
And for anyone else who's listening, if today sparked a new idea or gave you something to take action on, do not sit on it. Share it, use it, and keep going and growing. And until next time, keep leading with clarity and confidence.